Okay, good evening, everybody. Looks like I think we are live. And if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box here. I think you can see me. For some reason, I'm a little blind in, good evening, everybody. Let's see, I'm here. Say we are live. And if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box here. I think you can see me. For some reason, I'm a little blind in, see, I'm here. Say live. And letter Y in the question box here. I think you can see me. I'm a little blind in, looks like I'm blind in YouTube here. Okay. All right. So, okay. I think we are finally ready. So hopefully you can see me here. I can see your questions here in YouTube. Sorry about the interruption there. And if you have questions as we go along, please feel free to write them there in the live chat box. I can see them. And what we will do is we will get into how you can use the new marketer workshop rebrandable PLR content in your business. And that's what we want to do here tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what the new marketer workshop is. And one question that I get often, because I talk a lot about building outside of the make money online market, there are people who want to build within that market. So I'm going to address that here tonight. Primarily, I'm going to address most of it tomorrow. And then I'm going to talk about the 13 principles in the new marketer workshop, what they are. We're going to talk about how to rebrand and reteach the principles, which is something that you're going to want to do. And then we're going to talk about how you can monetize the content. That's probably what you want to know most. And I'll entertain any questions and answer any questions that you might have at that point. Now, tomorrow night, I'm going to talk mostly about the make money online market, and I will tell you how you're going to be able to leverage new marketer workshop launch. And that's what we have been talking about also. And that's for those of you who want to launch inside of the make money online JVZoo Warrior Plus ClickBank marketplace. And that is going to be separate. We'll talk about that tomorrow night because that's my Friday workshop. So first, what is the new marketer workshop? And basically, it started out, and it is a training bonus for Ultimate Insiders, and that's our monthly PLR group. And eventually, what it's going to be is it's going to be part of my evergreen signature, sort of right off into the sunset PLR product. It's going to be 52 weeks of content that is primarily, I would say, it's going to be my core beliefs and my core principles. And so originally, what I wanted to do for the monthly members was to give people a straightforward path for building a brand so they could sell our PLR, right? So it's a bonus. It was really a bonus so that people who, bought our content, they were our monthly members. We wanted to give them just kind of a really straightforward way of building a brand so they could sell it, right? And it's also designed so that people wouldn't spend a lot of time on the technical process of remaking PLR. Video PLR, especially over the shoulder video PLR, is different from any other kind of PLR. And you have to sometimes resist the temptation of treating it like it's any other kind of content where all you've really got to do is just remake it and try to put your name on it and try to add your face to it. That's unnecessary. And the whole point of technical videos and adding them to your products is contrary to the other way of using and thinking about PLR. So even when you get business related PLR, and it is really teaching a subject, kind of like, we've been talking about digital currency. Even when you get content that's like that, that's different from over the shoulder technical content. You really do want to remake content that is done by PowerPoint, typically into your own voice, in some cases. Now, I'm going to give you a case tonight where you're going to be using some of this content. You're not going to remake it into your own voice, and I'll tell you why that is. But again, what we do is different and you want to treat it differently. And that was another reason why I felt like I wanted to put this workshop together to give people the tools to be able to sell our content and not have to even worry over having to remake it in that very same way. This is the why. That's why we're putting together. So it wasn't really just another reason to sell a product and to launch a product. Although I don't really, you don't really need a reason, a deep reason to launch a product other than people want it. But we really do want to make this a little different, and we want people to use it in addition to all of the other content that they have available from us. And so the method is a step-by-step common sense approach. And I say this really later, it's not even a method. So I don't want you to think of this as a method that either you are learning and you are teaching. It is a way to approach being an information marketer, marketer and seller. It is for a person who can and is willing to be consistent in building an audience and a buyer's list. Everyone who's probably listening to me at this point, you probably came to me either because maybe you've seen a YouTube video that I've done, or you've bought a product that we've done, or you've gotten some of our free content, you've heard us, and you know that the only way that you're going to be able to sustain yourself as an online information marketer over time is going to be, you need to build a list of people that are going to be listening to you, and they're going to come to you because of what it is that you offer, even if what you offer is a great bonus on a consistent basis, right? That's a way and a reason to build an audience. And so this method or this way of life is really for a person that's willing to be consistent in building a buyer's list and building an audience. And so every week we cover now this started as 10 of 1 of 13 principles. And I'll tell you what those are here in a minute. So the whole series is 52 weeks. And what we're going to be doing is cycling back through each principle at least 4 times. So that's why, you'll see each of the principles covered in a different way 4 times over the course of the 52 weeks. We may go a few weeks longer than 52. We may go a few weeks shorter, but we will cover every principle at least 4 times. Now, this is designed to be watched as well as listened to. So a person could watch this entire thing, or they could listen to it. So you don't have to be tied down to your personal computer. If you can get access to YouTube, or if you can get access to Teachable, or you can get access to the audio, you can listen to this, while you're at the gym. You can listen to this while you're in your car, and everything that you will be able to hear, you will be able to process as an audio in addition to the video. We designed it that way because we wanted people to consume this and take action on it based on what they're hearing in addition to what they are seeing. Each session is actionable. So it's designed for you to take one session of each of these principles that we are teaching every single week and to put it into your business. So none of these things are, they're not super abstract. They're not things that you can kind of leave to the side. They're all essentials that if you put them inside of your business, you cannot help but grow your buyers list. You cannot help but grow your audience if you do them and you do them consistently. Now, if a person doesn't want to launch and implement only in the Make Money Online market, right? If they want to go outside of our market, which is a JVZoo Warrior Plus ClickBank market, you can use these principles. That's what it was designed for. And I know that there are people who maybe come to the Warrior, come to Warrior Plus, or they come to JVZoo, or they find out about, different information products, in particular PLR, and they want to use them in order to build their brand, but they don't want to be involved in the very same market in which they bought it because they don't want to sell to other business opportunity-minded internet marketers. And you should not have to apologize for that. And that's one of the reasons why we did this series, is so that those of you who do not want to market to other opportunity-minded internet marketers, you would be able to use a system, a process in order to build a brand, and you'd be able to teach one to your customers and to your prospects. So I will say this also. But if you want to build inside of the Make Money Online market, or if you sell to other opportunity-minded internet marketers, this process well, not only will it work for you, it'll work for you extremely well, and it will set you apart probably more than more than anything else that you'll be doing. And I don't say that disingenuously. I just say that if you do the work that we're talking about in these 52 weeks, and you're inside of the make money online market, let's say that who you're selling to, let's say that you are a network marketer, and you have a team that you were leading, and you were trying to teach that team how to build a brand, and you're trying to teach them how to grow their team. If you teach them this set of principles, if you teach them this set of processes, you will have a successful team. And I'm not a network marketer, and I say that in all sincerity. But if you teach people these principles on how to build a brand online, they won't be resorting to any tricks or anything that would be out of the ordinary in order to build themselves up, and they're going to help you in the long run. So again, if you want to build inside of a make money online market, you can do that. If you want to build outside of a make money online market, you can use these principles in order to do that. The people you are teaching, if you will teach them these principles, they will be successful also. And even if you are an offline marketer and you are a business, let's say you are a business consultant and you are working with either solopreneurs or small mom and pop enterprises, if you are teaching them how to build an information brand, and you are going to teach them how to generate leads to sell information so that they will be able to have another stream of income, these principles will work for you to teach to your people. And you will hear that, and you'll see that here when we get into this session. So this is not a method. So don't think of this as another information product that that you might see where someone's trying to teach you a loophole. I'm not teaching you a loophole. So if that's what you want something that's going to be a loophole, something that's going to work temporarily, something that depends on the Facebook algorithm or the YouTube algorithm and all those other things, then this is not going to be the method for you. If you've got to get something to work fast and you got to get it to work now, now, here's what I'll tell you about those things. Most people understand that if you've been involved in internet marketing any length of time, you've got to go through at least 4 or 5 methods, so to speak, before you find a loophole that works. And once you get a loophole to work, what happens is eventually loopholes close because they're not based on principles. And when a loophole closes because it's not based on principles, what you got to do then, you got to find that loophole. And that's the life of most information marketers, whether they come through JVZoo Warrior. That's really what shiny object syndrome is. It really is you find a loophole, it sort of works, it works for a little while, then a bunch of people rush in, it closes, and then you got to find another one. So this is not a method. This is not what this is. That's not what I'm teaching you to teach your people. That's not what I'm teaching you here in New Marketer Workshop. So it's not just another set of things. You got to rush and try to hurry up and do it before everybody else rushes in. Everybody who's listening to me can do this. And this will never be saturated because it's based on principles and it's based on work. Now, and as I'm telling you this, you have to understand, if you can use it, you can teach it. And that's the purpose of all of this. Use it and teach it. The idea in all of this, in New Marketer Workshop, is that you will be teaching a little bit every week an evergreen principle to the people that you have listening to you. And if you don't have people listening to you, this is really what you're going to build in order to get them to listen to you. Now, I want to address this, as I said at the very beginning, because this process was designed so that people who did not want to operate inside of the make money online market, or they did not want to sell to other information marketers, that they'd be able to have a set of principles and a set of processes that they could use. However, as I just said a minute ago, if you want to build inside of this market, you can still use these principles. Now, the ideal situation, let's say that you do want to launch in JVZoo Warrior Plus, and you want to launch a product there. I'm going to tell you the ideal way of doing that. Now, there's no one way. Typically, people find their way in and they launch a product and they build a list, or they get people to promote for them, and that's how they launch their product. And they kind of get into what I call the matrix, right? But I'm going to tell you the ideal situation that that again, if you do it this way, you never will run into a case where, someone's going to be able to come behind you and copy what you're doing. What you've got to do is you've got to find your success. You got to find an audience and make sales someplace. It doesn't matter where you make it. Doesn't matter how you make it. You've got to go find a situation and build an audience and make sales. There's a gentleman I knew a little while back. I'm not sure if he's still involved in internet marketing. If you were to go look and you go Google him, his name is Dave Iego. And I always mention Dave Iego because he did something. Now, he was a very innovative marketer. I think he went to build a business in machine fabrication, right? Smart dude. And what he did was he went to a convention and he took with him and he basically put an affiliate marketing offer on a sheet of paper. And he made it so that people could basically do tear sheets or QR codes. And he gave these papers out. And when he gave it out, people would scan the code. And because it was a CPA offer, what happened was he got credit every time that person became a lead. So this was a method. And what he did was he made money on the method. I think he got something like 800 leads that he got paid maybe $3 or $4 for each. But he actually made more money by bringing it to the Warrior Plus network and selling it as a way that everyone could use in order to make money. Now, if you go look for him, you probably find it there. I don't know what it is. I mean, you don't have to go look for the method. But my point by telling you this is that this is the ideal way to bring a method to the Warrior Plus network or to the JVZoo network. You go figure out a way to make money. You then come back to the Warrior Plus network. You take what you documented and you bring that unique way of making money and you teach other people. Now, you document the process and you teach it, right? You teach it in videos, you can teach it in audios, you can teach it in PDFs, you can create a guide. It doesn't matter. You can do all of them, you can do none of them. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want as long as it's a genuine method and it works. So this is the ideal way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but I'm saying that regular people, anybody can do this and generate value for another person and have a design, and create a desire for people to learn what you've learned. Now, you bring those resources to the ML market, right? And you sell them to other marketers. What do you sell? Now, let's say that you launch it and it doesn't go all that well, right? Let's say you didn't get a lot of affiliates, didn't get a lot of copies, it didn't sell. What you do is you add sales materials to it and you sell it as PLR. And then people who maybe didn't want it because they don't know you or they didn't, they really couldn't, it went into the method, they'll buy it because they can resell it. So this is not rocket science. And what you've done is you've created something unique instead of something, you didn't outsource it. You didn't go get a writer to do it. It's real, genuine PLR, and it's from something that really did make money. I'm giving you a blueprint right now, right? So if you just wanted to do, you go someplace else, figure out how to make money. You document the whole process, and you should be documenting all your processes anyway, whatever you're doing. If you're selling on Facebook Marketplace, document it. If you're, selling at a flea market, document it. If you are, if you're selling face-to-face, document. Whatever you're doing every day, document. That's what I tell you, first of all. And second, and then you bring that method back to other marketers and you teach them what you did. Now, that is what I'll be teaching you tomorrow, right? That's what workshop launch is, right? So that's not what tonight is. Now, so if you want to be in the make money online market, you come to workshop launch tomorrow, and I'm going to do a special session tomorrow just for that. And basically, that's what that's about, is taking any live series or a live workshop you do and turning it into PLR, right? That's what I'm teaching in that. And so that's why that's a different session. It's not the same as New Marketer Workshop. Is basically you are teaching something and you are turning it into PLR, right? Now, I will say this also about that course, is that I'm turning the whole thing into all forms of PLR. So if you got in there, right, if you got in that course, then you're fortunate, because I'm going to do more than just teach the live PLR process. I'm actually going to teach all forms. And it's eventually going to be my $497 product. So I'll say that if you're, there's special pricing there right now. I think it's super cheap now, plrshow.com/CTVD, right? That's workshop launch. I'll be talking about that tomorrow night. I teach that on Fridays. Now, let's talk about the 13 principles that you'll be teaching with New Marketer Workshop. What are the 13 principles? And I've not given them my own name. I think I may rebrand this as Extreme Business Makeover again. But 13 principles are this. You are positioning yourself not as the expert, but as an educator, as a source of information. That's principle 1. Principle 2, you do a weekly workshop. Principle 3, you build a product snowball. In other words, you monetize by launching on a regular basis, whatever regular is. Number 4, you market within a strategic marketing framework. What is the strategic marketing framework? Number 1, USP. Number 2, upsells and cross sells. Number 3, you build your list. Number 4, you build collaborations and affiliate relationships. That is a strategic marketing framework. Principle 5, create a content factory. Principle 6, you build a network of affiliates and JV partners, right? And you're building on those relationships all of the time. Number 6, you become a media mogul. You master one form. So in other words, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, before you go trying to do everything and trying to be on YouTube and LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Snapchat and on Instagram, you master one, right? You master the traffic method of one. And even if that's affiliate traffic, right, you master that. Then you get into production mode. Once you master one media, you get into production mode and you start launching products to the people that come to you by the traffic that you've mastered, right? You get into producing products to satisfy that audience. Wherever that audience is, you give them what they want. Wherever it comes from, you give them what they want. Get into production mode. Then you build a learning center. In other words, you build a continuity offer. You basically tell people they can get your front end product, or they can get all your products if they join your membership, however you structure it, right? We're gonna be teaching that in an entire session later on in 2022. We've already taught it in terms of e-learning playbook. I've synthesized those sessions. I'm going to show you how to build it, and I'm also going to show you, how to do the business model. More importantly, I think we're on number 9. Create a community around your ideas. This is going to be more popular, and you probably haven't seen this as much. But once you define those core principles, you create a community. However you build it, you raise and build an affiliate army. And I'm not talking about just people that I'm not talking about your network of affiliates. I'm talking about your customers. You turn your customers into affiliates and people who refer for you. Dan Kennedy says you want people to stay, pay, and refer. That's what we're talking about. Raising and building an affiliate army. That's the last principle. And the last principle is defining and promoting your core ideas. So in other words, you define your own set of ideas, and then you define them and you codify them. One of the ways you codify them is you write a book. And we're going to be talking about that, in these sessions. So those are the 13 principles that you learn and that you teach, right? That's what New Marketer Workshop is. So how do you rebrand and teach these principles? Well, every week you get a new video, PowerPoint, machine transcription. That's what New Marketer Workshop is. Each one covering one principle that you're going to rebrand and reteach. Now, of course, you should be doing these things, but okay, let's just say that what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using it in your product. So you're going to get that video machine transcription, and so you're going to be able to use the PowerPoint and the transcripts in your free training. The rights that we give you allow you to use the PowerPoint and the transcription in anything. Right. So as long as you don't give people PLR rights to it, we hope you're using it in your products. We hope you're using it in your YouTube videos. We hope you're using it in your teaching. We hope you're using it in your everyday, sessions or whatever you're posting on Facebook or YouTube, whatever you're doing. Right. We hope you're using that content in that way. But now, what we encourage you not to do is to give away all the information. I'll tell you why that's in a minute. Don't give away all of it. There's no reason for that. All you're going to do is teach people a little bit to whet their appetite. And then you're going to, and we encourage you, when you learn these principles that we're teaching you, they're principles. So you don't use them as doctrine. So using them as they're said is not important. You don't have to use them word for word. You understand the principle and you rename it. You give it a unique name. You give it a unique name that comes out of your brand, that comes out of your core principles. You give every principle that we give you to teach a new name. Um, now, what you can also do is add elements of your own to each principle, right? Because we're giving you the right to rename them. So you rename them and you give them new life by giving them a unique perspective that only you can give. What you can also do is I've given you 13. You can take principles out that you don't agree with. You can add in principles that you do agree with. You can have 17 principles. You can have 5 principles. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you teach them every week. And so basically, the principles are designed for you to remake them into your own image. That's why we've given them to you. You take the and then once you have an entire set of principles, let's say you've got your own set of 9, right? After all said and done, maybe you combined some, you added some, took some out. You give that system a name, right? You call it something. Now, when I was teaching this to Ultimate Insiders, I was using the words success path, and I've since kind of retracted that because I realized I heard that term from Stu McLaren. He uses that when he teaches his own set of success principles. Now, I'm not going to use success path because that's really his. Now, he didn't copyright the term, but I don't want to use his. I'm coming up with my own. I'm really testing and saying exactly what these set of principles are going to be. You're going to give your own name to your set of principles. I mean, it can revolve around your name. It can revolve around who you are. It can revolve around what you're teaching. You give those principles a handle consistent with your core principles. And then you teach each one of those principles every week, right? Every week you teach a new principle. And I'll tell you why why you're going to do that here in a minute. And you teach it live, right? You teach each rebranded principle live. Each week you teach a new side of the principle. And that's what you're going to be doing every week. What you're doing is you're building a training archive. And if you have no social proof, that's your social proof. When you have 10 lessons and you've done them once a week, you won't need social proof, you'll have it. If I can go to your YouTube channel and I see on December 7th, you taught one thing. December 14th, you taught another thing. December 21st, taught another thing. December 28th, taught another thing. January 5th, you taught something else. That's social proof. That means, you know what that means? That means you show up every week. And what you're doing is you're building credibility. That's what you were doing. Eventually you will have people in your comment area say, hey, you know what? This was really awesome. Hey, you know what? I really enjoyed that. Hey, you know what? Can you do something else next week? When you do that every week, you don't need other people. You basically are getting your social proof. And those are your testimonials right there in the comment area. Right? You are building a training archive. This is your social proof. But again, as I said here from the beginning, this is for the person who's willing to be consistent. This is not for the person who's got to hop around and they're gonna hit a home run. And if they don't hit a home run, they're gonna take their ball and bat and go home. This is for the person who's willing to hit a single this week, maybe next week hit a double, maybe this week you don't get on base, and then the next week you hit another single. That's for that person. Right now, if you're into baseball, if you're in American baseball, right? Not everybody, people all over the world. People say, what are you talking about? First base. Now, you also build credibility because not only are you teaching this, but you're doing it. One of the reasons why you teach this when you do a weekly workshop is because you are doing what you were teaching. You're teaching people the principles in New Marketer Workshop, but you are doing it. The whole thing revolves around showing up weekly and teaching something on a weekly basis. And when you do that, and you're then teaching people to do that, that's credibility. And so the whole thing is really designed for you to build credibility by doing what you were teaching. And that's the whole other part of your social proof. So even if you don't have, let's say, big gurus saying, hey, I endorse this person, you are giving yourself social proof. Right, you're giving yourself social proof. Number one, by building a training archive. Number two, by doing what you were teaching. You were building credibility. Now, how do you monetize this kind of content? How do you monetize it? Number one, you take your PLR offers and you make sure they're put up and ready for purchase. Right, up and ready for delivery. In terms of our PLR, right, our video PLR, when you talk about us, you say things like these, our trainer. So you don't try to redo these in your own voice, right? You tell people our trainer, our team, our, our guy, our instructor. You talk about me in that way. My name's not in my name's not in our videos. So it doesn't, so that nobody's gonna know who I am. You just refer to me as our guy, right? This is our guy. He does this stuff for us. This is our training partner. Whatever you want to say. Um, you set up a checkout page. In some cases, I'm not even talking about a sales page. Now, some people get really hung up about the sales page or redoing it and all that other stuff. I'm saying, if you got a shopping cart, skip all that, set up a checkout page. So don't even fool. Well, I want to do the HTML and I don't know how to do HTML. Don't worry about that stuff. Set up a checkout page because you're going to be sending people here from your workshop. So you're not, there can be a time where after you teach people, you can actually unsell them by sending them to a sales page. You know that? Sometimes people are hot for what you talked about, and then you send them to a sales page that's generic and you unsell them, right? You want people to come off your workshop. They're sort of hot because you talked about it. And then you say, here's where you can get it, go buy it. You send them to a checkout page. Don't always, now again, sometimes you might use a sales page, but I'm saying to you, if you don't want to fool around with the sales page, if that's not what you want to do, you set up your checkout page to deliver the product. On your workshop, your weekly workshop, every single week, what do? You ask people to join your list. Number 2, you ask them to buy your front end product. Number 3, you ask them to buy your continuity offer. And you set it up, you could set it up as an annual version and it'll be your high ticket product. So if you have, let's say, at least 12 months of content in your high ticket, in your continuity product, you can offer people an annual rate. And you don't do that for anything less than $297. Frankly, you should be doing it for $397. You got 12 months of content, you're selling it for about $30, then give it to her for $297. That'll give them a little price break, right? So you can buy my all access, you say, right? Buy all access, or you buy it from me monthly. That's the offer. Really simple. So anybody in here can create $30 worth of value a month. Even if all you do is you take one of our PLR products and you give people and you add that to your membership once a month, and then you add in a little extra whatever for your niche, that's $30 worth of value, right? That's $30 worth of value. You can offer it every single month. Now, people that purchase that paid product, this is why I said here, you don't give everything in that PowerPoint, in those transcripts, you don't teach all that free. There's no need for that, because what you're going to add to your paid membership is the paid training that I did. So if you don't want to do those videos over, let me talk to your people, right? Just let the video play. So you use my voice training. That's what I recommend you do. Now, if you just feel like you got to redo it in your voice, that's cool. Redo it in your own voice. That's why you have the transcript. That's why you have the PowerPoint. So, just take the machine transcription. I think it's pretty sure it's about 96% accurate, right? You might see some words in there that might look unfamiliar, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate. And you redo that in your own voice, right? That's how you monetize this live content. Okay, so any questions? Any questions? Have any questions? You can write them here in the box. Any questions? Okay, so if you still haven't picked up the new marketer workshop, you can pick it up at plrshow.com/TNMW combo, right? You can get that there. And or you can get it as an ultimate insider. You can sign up as an ultimate insider on plrshow.com/insiders, right? If you sign up there, you'll get new marketer workshop automatically. And of course, then tomorrow night, I'm going to be talking about new marketer workshop launch. Okay, so any questions? Any questions from anyone? Any questions what we covered. Okay, well, thanks very much, everybody, for hanging out with me. Let's see, looks like we got a question here. Let me see. Yeah, so Bill said trimming it down so as not to give it all away. Yeah. Yep. So on the front end or in the free area, no, you don't want to give the whole workshop away, right? So you just kind of and you use the bulk of it in the paid product, but then you just teach people a little bit to whet their appetite, right? Once a week, right? That is exactly the way you do it. Okay, so um, when you on the front end, right, or when you do the free training, you don't use the video, right? So you don't use a video. That is where what you would use are the PowerPoints. You would teach that part yourself in your own workshop in your own voice, right? Um, so you would do your own version of whatever the training is, and again, a portion of it, right? That's actually a good question, Bill. Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, what we are going to do tomorrow is that's typically the Friday launch. I'm going to talk about the other side of this, and that's if you want to launch inside of the um, Make Money Online market. And I'm going to talk about the PLR launch product. And so instead of doing a session of that, I am going to talk about how you're going to think about using what I'm doing on Fridays, right? And that will help you. So basically now, if you're an ultimate insider, you now have both sides of the coin. If you want to build a brand online and you want to build it outside of the make money online or the business opportunity space, what you're going to do is you're going to do what we talked about tonight, right? That's what the new marketer workshop launch is for. If you want to have something to teach to your audience, you use the content to teach these principles. You remake them into your own image and you teach them. Now, if you want to launch inside of the make money online market, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, right? You want to figure out a product launch, and there is a method, and that's what I am teaching on Fridays. And I will talk about that tomorrow evening at, I think I typically schedule it for 8, but we're going to do that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, right? So you can look for the link tomorrow. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me here, and sorry about the there at the beginning of the session. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to edit that out. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care. Oh yeah, yeah, Bill. So you're saying, can you? I think this is perfect to sell to other local businesses. How to market? Yep, I think you should. Absolutely, yes, you should. You should be teaching this on a weekly basis. And what you're teaching them is either how to build a brand or how to build an information marketing brand to extend what they are selling. Because, um, and without belaboring this point, one of the ways and one of the defenses that a small local business has is they've got to educate. If they can build a presence by being an educator and not just a seller of products, they're going to build an audience and teach that audience how to be a good customer, right? And that's basically one of the reasons why part of the marketing of any small local business is to build that loyal audience and following of people that are coming to them for their own benefit. In other words, they're coming to that business to learn. And really what that business is teaching them is how to buy our products. I mean, they're not saying that, right? But they're saying, okay, like Home Depot does. Home Depot does, does videos, and they do videos based on, well, how do you fix this sink? Well, you fix this sink by using the wrench here, and you're using and this kind of thing here. And guess what? You can get all these things at Home Depot. Same concept, right? And so the local business should be educated, and they should be educating early and often, as much as they can. And whether they use YouTube, whether they use Facebook Live, it doesn't really matter. The principle is to educate. So the very first principle is, right, to everything. And let me kind of go back to this here. The very first principle is position yourself as an educator, right? So, and you want to teach people this also. Right? So a small local business needs to, especially in this day of age of lockdowns and coronavirus. Now, most people are not going to want to do this because they need to make sales now, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to justify spending the amount of time it's going to take for me to start teaching people? But if they're going to build a list and they're going to build an audience, they have to position themselves as an educator. So there's no shortcutting this, and you are going to be the truth teller, and you're going to be the person that's giving them basically the hard medicine they need in order to build this kind of brand, because they want people tied to them, and they want people who are going to buy in the midst of high inflation, in the midst of the fact that people can go get this stuff from Amazon. They can go get it cheaper. They can typically go get it. They typically go get it faster. But if they can build this audience, right, they can build a loyal following of people who buy from them because that's their people. And there's no other way around this. They're not going to be able to, a small business is not going to be able to out Amazon. So, if they're trying to match fire with them, it's only so far they're going to be able to take that. Amazon right now, they have their own set of ships. So in other words, Amazon's figuring out how to get around supply chain issue. So they've got their own ships. They're building their own shipping containers. So if a small business thinks they're going to out Amazon, they're not going to do it. So what they're going to have to do, they're still going to have to build a loyal following. And the only way they're going to be able to build them, and they got to educate them. And they got to educate them on why it's best for them to buy from them and not Amazon. Or they got to build loyalty. And I don't know any other way they're going to be able to do that in this environment, in an environment of high inflation and all this other stuff, if they don't do exactly what I'm talking about here. And so, in my opinion, you got to teach them that, right? You got to show them that. You got to model it, and then you've also got to tell them they have to do it. This is their only defense. Nobody has defense against Amazon in a local business, and eventually, the bigger players are going to start buying up the smaller players, because smaller players can't afford to compete, or they can't get the products to them, or they don't have enough to buy robotics, or whatever the case is. But they can compete if they build an audience. They can compete if they build a local following. And so they're going to have to do this. But they got to have people who will tell them the truth, and that's what you're going to be able to do. I mean, that probably sounds like a rant, but that's just the truth, in my opinion. That's a great question. And I probably went off on that a little bit, but that's my belief. I really believe that this is the only medicine that our local people have against this onslaught and juggernaut that has come to them in the last 24 months over time, right? And these businesses are still facing a headwind, and they're not going to be able to out quick and out fast and outrun bigger players. They're just not going to be able to do it. They got to out loyalty them. They got to out educate them. Right? Okay, any questions? Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, once again, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me here. Have a great night. I will be with you tomorrow night if you can hang out. Have a great, pleasant tomorrow. Take care.